Well, good afternoon, Michael. I hope you've had an amazing weekend down at Apollo Bay. The weather's been good for you down your property. This is assessment one for social work theories, the video assessment. Question 1A. My worldview is made up of clearly explain your personal identities, perspectives, knowledge, and values have been shaped. So, have an understanding of me. I'm a 36-year-old white male, born and raised in Melbourne, which cultural identity goes back to the Irish Republic. Said to be privileged, although some characteristics would differ from the term privileged. I stand for the equality of all human beings, including those who identify as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island or those who have a disability. I'm an incredibly honest individual who often calls out the wrongs and try to bring about positive change. I understand that as an individual, I am still learning, and I'm open to learning to help mold me as a future social worker. I do have an incredibly outgoing personality, and I hope that my personality can often bring some positive change to our society. As an individual, I'll go through complex scenarios and deal with incredibly complex individuals who are struggling in life or with life, and at times go on with a greater experience. My practice methods will grow as a professional, but also as an individual. My worldview is made up of greater understanding of complex historical treatment of some minority groups. With my passion, outgoing personality, I plan to utilise what I learn and explore as a social work student to help advocate for social justice and human rights. I need to develop my skills, my imperfections especially. For example, I do have a short fuse when it comes to those of the far right wing or those who identify as being a fascist. I do need to remain calm, collective, and respect the individual despite having an adverse effect, I should say, an adverse opinion of this individual or individuals. 1B, why I chose to study social work. So, I've always had a very, very strong passion for human rights and social justice, going back from my time as a teenager. Unfortunately, due to complex health reasons, I wasn't able to study. Since that time, I have been lucky and fortunate to travel the world, and it's brought me back home to Melbourne. I've always felt the world is a complex and at times a broken place. I can't just sit down on the couch and say everything's going to be all right, because the way I see it, the world's a pretty broken place, and I would like to get up, change things, and bring a positive direction to the world as a social worker in waiting. One client at a time, of course. 2A, my understanding of the role of theory a social worker is. So to understand what a social worker is, this is my understanding of what a social worker is. So, in my personal being, I feel a social worker is there to advocate for an individual who may be experiencing hardship or adverse impacts that society has taken upon them. In saying that, I feel a social worker is there to assist them at all times, taking into consideration both the person and the policy that society states. Now, this comes from the global definition of social work. Now, this is found at Class 1, Slide 6, 1.2, Introduction to Social Work Theories. The social work profession promotes, facilitates social change, development, social cohesion, and empowerment and liberation of people. Principles of social justice, human rights, collective responsibility, and respect to diversity are central to social work. 2B, an example of a role of theory. Now, this comes from, as I said, week 1, highlighting your understanding. A theory, as stated in Class 2, video slide 2, that best describes describing, exploring, and predicting. The theory is a person-centered care that comes from Carl Rogers, 1965, who was an American psychologist himself. The theory is central relationship between the user and workers, aids understanding and situation of the survey user and how they should best intervene. There is no one-size-fits-all to this fits-all application of theory to practice. Each server, user person with whom will work have a unique profile and set of problems to address. Working with this client will collaborative process and theorizing and decision making should be as well. So thank you for taking the time to see this video. Saying that, I hope I do get a good mark from it, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.